Hello, everyone. My name is Jill, and I represent the Moya Foundation. I'm here today to give you some information that might help you study for the Florida Driving Permit Test. I hope you all enjoy this video. So today we're going to talk about Florida driving basics concerning seatbelts and pavement markings. This is video number 1. Seatbelts. You must always wear a seatbelt to keep yourself and all of the passengers in your car safe. You are far more likely to be killed in a crash if you're not wearing your seatbelt. In a crash, your seatbelt keeps you from being thrown from the vehicle, from being thrown against other passengers or your steering wheel or even your windshield, and it keeps you right behind the wheel where you can control the vehicle. Buckle up. It's the law. You must always wear both your lap belt and your shoulder belt. You should wear your lap belt right around your hips, nice and snug, and you wear your shoulder belt across your chest. Your seat belt will not work if you just tuck it behind you. And even if your car has an airbag is not a substitute for your seatbelt. Please keep in mind that Florida law requires that all drivers, all front seat passengers, and all passengers under the age of 18 must wear their seat belts. I recommend everyone in the car wearing their seat belts regardless of their age. Now, what about seat belts for children? Well, children who are under the age of 4 must be in a car seat or a safety seat. It's the same thing. And children who are either 4 or 5 years old must either be in a car seat or in a booster seat. A booster seat is sort of a half car seat, but it's still strapped into the seat belt. Now, here's some very important information. You, as the driver, are responsible for the safety of everyone in your car. So you will be charged with a violation if a passenger under the age of 18 does not have their seatbelt on. You are responsible. Here's a video that shows the difference between driving without a seatbelt if you're in a crash and driving with one. They use a mannequin or a dummy inside the car to show the difference. Watch this video with me. See what happens to the mannequin in the front seat? He smashes not only into his steering wheel, but right into the windshield. He even breaks the windshield with his head. Imagine the kind of damage that would cause. But now look with the seatbelt on. Even though the airbag is there to protect him, he also is nowhere near the windshield, and that's because his safety belt is keeping him safe. Here's the difference. Wow, really shows you how important wearing your seatbelt is. Now we're going to talk about some traffic controls. Those traffic controls that we're going to speak about in this video are pavement markings. So what are pavement markings? Those are the lines and the symbols and the words that are painted right there on the roadway, right there on the street, that help direct the drivers and control the traffic. If you're going to drive a car, you must know what all the different lines, colors, and symbols mean, and you have to obey those rules. Unless you are turning, leaving a highway, or changing lanes, you must always stay between the lines that are on the road. They mark the lane that you're in. That's very important. Edge lines. So edge lines are the solid lines along the side of the road that mark the edge of the pavement. A single solid yellow line marks the left side of the street that you're on divided highways and one-way streets, like you see in the picture. On the right side, you will find a single solid white line, and that marks the edge of the pavement over on the right side. So you'll see the yellow line on the left side and the white line on the right side, and those are called edge lines. Now, white lane lines. Very important. White lane lines separate the traffic that is moving in the same direction. So if you are next to a car and there is a white line in between your cars, that tells you that you should be moving in the same direction as the car next to you. If it's a single broken white line, then you may change lanes when it's safe to do so. Always put on your turn signal. Don't forget that. If there is a single solid white line, you may travel in the same direction on both sides of the line, but you shouldn't cross that line unless there's a very important reason to do so, like a hazard, like something might have fallen into the road, or to avoid a car that might be out of control to hit you. So you want to stay on your side of a solid white line unless there's some kind of a problem and a reason why you would have to get into the other line. But if there are double solid white lines, you are not permitted to cross those lines. So let's look at the three pictures on the screen. The one on top, this one shows broken white lines. You may move from lane to lane with your turn signal when it's safe to do so. If there's one solid line, you may only cross it if there's a very important reason why. Something is in the road or you have to avoid something. For double solid white lines, then you may not cross. You may not cross double solid white lines. Now, what about yellow lane lines? Yellow lane lines separate lanes of traffic that are moving in opposite directions. So if there's a single broken yellow line, you must always stay to the right of that line. You may cross the line in order to pass a car ahead of you and come right back into your lane once you have done so. Keep in mind, you have to move very carefully because traffic will be coming in the opposite direction towards you. If you see double solid yellow lines, that means that vehicles are traveling in the opposite direction and you may not pass. You may not move out of your lane into the lane next to you. The only time that you can cross those lines if you are making a left-hand turn. And you must make sure that it's safe to do so before you make that turn. Watch out for those double solid yellow lines. You may not pass. Now, what if there are double yellow lines that are solid on the right, on your side of the line, but broken on the left? Passing is not allowed in that lane. If the has broken yellow lines on your side or on the right side and solid on the left, then it's okay. So let's look at this picture. Sorry, my mouse. Please fix that, Jennifer. Thank you. So let's look at this picture. Here, the blue car is able to pass because the broken yellow lines are on their side of the road. But the green car has a solid yellow line. The green car may not pass. You may only pass when you see broken lines on your side of the road. Now, what about turn lanes? Arrows are usually used to show which lane you may turn from. So in this picture, you can see that this lane is marked with a curved arrow and the word only. There's the word only. This tells you that you may only turn left if your car is in this lane. Only left. But look at this lane. This tells you that if you are in this lane, you have a choice. You may either turn left or you may also choose to go straight when it is safe to do so. Now let's look at this picture down here. This is a center lane on a two-way roadway. So drivers from either direction may come into this lane if they need to turn left. You may not use this lane for passing. You see the solid yellow line here, but you may come into this lane if you would like to make a left-hand turn. Let's take a look at crosswalks and white stop lines. Here's an example of a crosswalk. A crosswalk is always marked with two solid white lines, and sometimes there are some perpendicular or up and down lines in between, or sometimes even diagonal lines. But you will always find two white lines that show you where a crosswalk is. If you are driving, you must always make sure you are looking for pedestrians or people walking in the crosswalk, and you must stop and let them cross. Here is a white stop line in front of the blue car. This is where you must stop if there is a stop sign or a red light. See how the blue car is not even touching the white line? That's where you must stop. You should not have your wheels on any part of the white line. You must stop before it. Now that we've learned a lot about pavement markings, here's a video that talks about all of the things that we have just learned about. Let's see.
Let's look at lane markings. White lines divide lanes where traffic travels in the same direction. Yellow lines mean traffic travels in opposite directions. The type of yellow line tells you what you can or cannot do. One broken line means cars can pass in either direction. A solid and broken line means passing is permitted in one direction. Only if you're on the side with the broken line. A solid double line means no passing in either direction. Never drive on the left side of a solid double line unless you're making a left turn, you're in a carpool lane, or you are instructed to do so. Double yellow lines are another matter. Consider them the same as a raised barrier. Never cross unless there is a designated opening.
Let's say you're on a road that only has white lines. What does that mean?
All traffic will be traveling the same way. It's a one-way street.
Very good. Now, there are a few specialized lanes you should know about too.
Bike lanes are generally for bicyclists or pedestrians if there are no sidewalks. Never use a bike lane unless you're about to make a right turn, enter a driveway, or to park if permitted. There are several types of carpool lanes. The markings tell you when it's legal to enter or exit. Check the signs to make sure you meet the occupancy requirements or have a special decal before entering. Center left turn lanes keep traffic flowing and prevent rear-end collisions. Always use them for left turns when available. On a two-lane road, if you are driving slowly and traffic behind you cannot pass, use a turnout lane when available. You must do this when 5 or more cars are behind you. And be aware of markings that let you know that a lane is about to end.
I hope that everybody really enjoyed our tutorial on pavement markings and seat belts. And I hope to see you in our next video. Have a good day.